everybody. Yvonne here, obviously it's me. Sorry that I can't be with you this week, but I just thought it'd be really good to do a bit of a recap of the expectations of phonics at St. Peter's, and just to go through some things that you might be thinking, oh yeah, I just need to check that, or I need reminding about that. Obviously I can't be there with you physically. I am around this week, but after that, Emma is your go-to person for phonics. Obviously, you're all a team. Some of you maybe are stronger at phonics than others, so please work together, help each other. But Emma is going to be leading phonics for the year, so you know she's got that expertise in phonics, so please go to her for anything at all. It might seem a silly question and you might think, oh, I can't ask that, but yes, you can. Please do. We'd rather you ask than not, and then be struggling or be thinking, oh, what am I going to do? Or please ask a colleague or a friend to help you if you're unsure. But hopefully this will just help you a little bit ready for the year ahead. So first of all, I just wanted to remind you, first things first, if you're watching this, go and get yourself a cup of tea. Have a sit back and relax. This is not a snazzy video at all. I'm just in my dining room. I haven't got Ed here to do anything technical with it, so it's just me, very pregnant, out of breath when I'm talking. So please excuse me. I've got heartburn as well, so anything goes today, but I really hope it'll be helpful. But it's nothing snazzy, no added price on this at the moment because he's away, so it's just me. Anyway, first of all the phonics resources and everything you need is on teaching, okay? So if you go on teaching and then key stage 1 phonics, everything's in there. Basically, there was a lot of folders. There was a lesson sounds folder, there were key set, and it was all a bit, everything was everywhere. And I thought, it just needs to go in one folder. Obviously, it says key stage 1 phonics, but it's EYFS and it's key stage 2 as well. I think it's just, I've just called it key stage 1 phonics, but you can access everything in there. So in there, you've got things like your groupings, which the up-to-date sheet is in there. Obviously, Emma will start to update that for the next time you do groupings, next half term. Phonics play planning's in there, so you don't have to bother going get it off the internet and things like that. Resources for each phase are in there. There's loads of resources. I found them all off the teaching and put them all in one folder, and there's loads of things in there that you might want to have a little look at. And also all the assessment master copies are in there as well. So please have a little look in that file, and you know that's where everything phonics wise will go. Okay, so it's just teaching, key stage 1 phonics, nice and easy, nice and straightforward. Okay, and really I just wanted to remind everybody that phonics, your phonics sessions, if you are leading a group this year or one-to-one, you need to make sure that it's systematic, it's synthetic, it's structured, and it's like that every day. Okay, so things not to do, things that phonics should not be at all. You might be surprised by some of these. It shouldn't be over elaborate. Okay, so you should not be doing an all singing, all dancing phonics lesson every day. You can't, because you're just doing a 20 or 30 minute, whatever slot you've got every day, and that for that slot you need to be ready to go and all systems go. Okay, doesn't mean that you can't put every effort in to make it amazing, but it doesn't have to be different every day and elaborate and oh we need to go and do this. It doesn't have to be like that. It just has to have the same structure every day, and basically at the end of that lesson the children need to have known that sound that you have taught them. If they know that sound, then you've taught the lesson. Okay, so keep it simple but make it great by the way you deliver it. You are the best resource when it comes to phonics. As long as you're using your pure sounds, you're keeping that structure, the children will get used to it. Yeah, every now and then you might need to change it a little bit, but it doesn't have to be, oh I need to go and print off all these sheets and make it and get this crossword and make it all exciting. No, and that's not actually that exciting anyway, but it doesn't have to be like that at all. So don't make it over elaborate at all. It should not be difficult to manage. If you're finding phonics really hard to deliver, then something's not right. We've got those boxes for Key Stage 1 in particular. If you are in Key Stage 2, and you've got a one-to-one child, you probably won't have a box. However, there's no, you are welcome to a box. So please go and see Emma this week. Have a look inside the box, get the things that you need, go and duplicate them somehow, and then set yourself something up or a folder or something. But obviously you're welcome to have a similar box like that, but I think we've only got enough at the moment for Key Stage 1. So that box will help you manage it so much better as well. Okay, so everything's in that box, your flashcards, your planning, your assessments, everything you need, a few games, and it's done. Okay, so don't overcomplicate it by making it difficult to manage. And also within that you should know where you're going for your phonics session. So make sure that is something that you sort out this week. Have you got a definite slot? And once you've found, not a slot, an area, once you've found that area, go and check with everybody in school that you can use that time every day for this time, between this time and this, and that's yours. So if you're going to do the ICT suite, you're going to have to put a message on Teams and say, can I have this? Okay, and go and ask Lynn to put it on the timetable, or Elaine, whoever does studio or ICT times tables, because that's one of the things. Sometimes people are wandering around with the box with the children behind them, and you're just trying to find somewhere, and actually that's not good enough, is it, for our children? They should have, if I think about Esther, I wouldn't want her wandering around the school trying to find somewhere to learn. I'd want her to have a space every time where she can learn. Okay, so think about it that way. Just get yourself organised where you're going to be. If you're in a classroom, obviously that's fine. You might be in an outdoor area. I would suggest don't put 2 groups in the outdoor area. You'll lose the children. Don't have 2 groups in one outdoor area. So just the one. So it will need a bit of negotiating this week with the rest of the school. But fight for phonics because it's important. So just make sure other staff know that that's when you need it. Okay. Phonics shouldn't have activities that take children too long to complete. If it's not quick and snappy and they're taking ages to complete something, something's gone wrong, or if they're struggling with it. So think about that as well when you're doing your activities. Phonics shouldn't be something that will make an activity that will make them focus on something else rather than what you're learning. So if you're doing something fun, like finding letters in the sand, or going outside and putting them all over I've seen that loads in year 1 and I love it, on the playground, chalking all the sounds, great, but make sure at the end of it they've not said, yeah, today we were learning to draw on the floor. Today we were learning to chalk outside. That's not what you were learning. What you were learning was the ch sound or the sh sound. They need to make sure they say that. So yes, by all means, use things like that, but make sure it doesn't take the focus away from what you are actually learning. Okay? I hope that all makes sense. So just a little recap on the expectations. I did send this out before summer, but I'll resend it. It will be with you as you're watching this, hopefully. Have it printed off. So a model for a daily lesson would be revisit and review. So you first thing first, the children are all sat down, position them in a way where you're at the front, you're leading, and the children might be in some sort of like V shape or something. But have a little, the first week, this week, get them all sat in a position where you want them, make it your little, space, and think about your behaviour management for those children as well. If you've got a few ones in there that are a little bit, the retention span's not quite great, then move them around and give them their own little spot or something like that. So revisit and review. First things first, every day, every session must have this, okay? Now, if you're not in the classroom, you will need the flashcards, okay? If you are in a classroom, you can use the Phonics Play ones on the screen, because if you've got, I'm assuming if you're in the classroom, you've got more children. So Phonics Play, flashcards is great. Choose the phase that you want, the sounds that you've taught, and do it that way. But if you're not, you must have a set of cards. They might not be like these. They might not be the read, write, ink ones. Doesn't matter. They might just be a laminated set in your box. But please make sure you've got these. So if you this week are starting with phase 3, you should have a pack of phase 2 flashcards to be recapping. If you're teaching phase 4 this week, you should have a pack of phase 3 flashcards to recap. Okay, so you're only recapping what they already know. Okay, so you're doing these sounds, you're recapping, and for example, say you've taught the sound today, that sound then goes into your recap pile tomorrow. Because we've done that. Okay, so it can go in there. Okay, when you're revisiting, this should be a quick, short, snappy 3-minute kind of thing. Okay, it should be that children just say the sound and you're moving like that. Okay, but sometimes you might think, oh, especially this week and next week, they're going to need a bit of my help. So you can do a bit of my turn, your turn, and really get them used to that. Teach them what that means. When you point here and say my turn, it is only my voice that should be heard. Okay, my turn, then it's your turn, my turn. Teach them it. Teach them how that goes. Okay, sometimes they might be fine with some, and if they get one wrong, say they say m instead of then you would say, listen everybody, my turn, your turn. And they would say, and just do that a few times, then mix it back up in the pile, and hopefully they'll get it right next time. When you are doing the flashcards, keep it positive. So if they're going through and you hear someone go, huh, okay, don't repeat what they have done wrong. So don't say, oh, it's not her. Okay, don't repeat again what they've done wrong. Say, my turn, your turn, and just keep doing it. So you've corrected the children, you've stopped them and said, okay, listen, and then when they do it, much better, brilliant, let's move on, and then come back to it, and hopefully they've got it. Okay, so don't say, no, that's not right, it's not that. We don't say, let me think of one, k, we say k. Okay, don't say that. Say, my turn, k, your turn, k, my turn, k. And eventually you won't need to say my turn, you just need to do that and they'll know, because you'll have taught them how to do it. Okay, and it'll be much easier when you're teaching it, really short and snappy. Okay, let's have a quick go at this. Have a little sip of your cup of tea or your coffee. And you might be in a group or you might be on your own at home, so don't be embarrassed. But let's have a little go at these pure sounds. This is so important if you're doing reading with children, whatever you're doing with children, pure sounds, okay? So I'll do it first, then you, okay? Good. Brilliant. Oh, amazing sounds. S. Super. F. Brilliant. T. We'll just do that one again. T. Brill. Sh. Sh. Excellent. Ooh. Ooh. D. D. Ch. Ch. Oops. Sh. Oh. K. Excellent. Oh. P. P. Brilliant. Ah. Well done. Excellent. Well done. Super sounds. Okay, so you can see I praised throughout, just a few odd times, just saying brilliant, well done. Some I pretended to do again because I pretended that I could hear that some weren't right, but I never said, no, stop, we don't do that. So did you see how it just kind of flowed a lot better and it was all very, very positive? Okay, there's some missing in there. I've just got an odd pack there, so they're not all of them. But please practice your pure sounds at home. Watch videos, type it into YouTube, you'll find loads of videos, practice it. And also don't be afraid to exaggerate your mouth. You know, it doesn't matter. I know you might feel a bit silly, but the children need to see it. They need to see that you're going p and and k, and it's all in your facial expression. So please, please exaggerate. Okay, don't feel silly. So the next bit, that's your revisit and review. You reviewed. Your new sound was in there from yesterday, so you're saying, well done, brilliant, we know those now. Teach now. So you're teaching for about 5 minutes. This is your turn now, my turn. It's an I do. The children are listening and sitting, okay? This is where you're introducing your sound. So the way you introduce your sound, a really good way, every day, get your stuffed teddy, your soft toy, not a puppet, shouldn't have a mouth moving, because puppet's mouth just does that. So it's not going to show them how to move the mouth in the correct way. So a little teddy, and you can say, Teddy, give him a name, introduce him at the start of your group. He's going to tell us our sounds today. Oh. The sound is, and it might be ch. And your turn, ch, ch. Okay, so they hear it and do it in different voices, louder, quieter, whatever. Make it a bit fun. They hear it, they see it next. So you're going to show them it. So I've got that one here somewhere in here. Bear with me. There it is. So we know our sound sounds like ch, and now I'm going to show you the sound, and you can reveal this is our ch sound. It's got 2 letters, 1 sound. 2 letters, 1 sound. The sound is ch. Your turn. Ch. And you can do things like hiding it under there. You can bring it outside. They love that. And it's only so simple, but they love it. So behind a board, behind a chair, and just when they see it, they've got to say it, little bit of fun like that. So hear it, say it, read it. So they've heard it, they've said it, they've read it, and then they can have a little go at writing it. So I would just say quick whiteboards. The whiteboard should be out ready. Have them out ready so you're not faffing in the middle of your lesson. Or it might be scrap piece of paper. You might find that easier. Some are not great with whiteboards, are they? So whatever, you might have a jotter. Whatever you find easiest, let's write. Shh, off we go. How many times can we write it before I say stop? You could put a timer on for a minute. Whatever you want to do. But shh, have a go at writing. And pick up then on handwriting as well. Go around and check. How are you doing? Are we doing it? Curl around the caterpillar. It's worth mentioning all the time, but it's not the focus. But of course, please correct it if you see somebody not forming it correctly. Okay, so you've done your revisit and review, done the teach, okay, and now we're doing the practice. Okay, so the practice is an opportunity for a little game, okay, a fun activity. On your phonics play planning sheet, it sometimes says things like, for the practice, play countdown, play sound buttons, play this. Well, that's because they're all online. So if you've not got access to the computer, don't think, oh, I can't do that. Of course you can. You can think outside the box. So they often give you words anyway. So you could just quickly write them out before reading them on the board together. Let's sound them out. I know our little friend Doggy wants to read them first. He's going to read them. You could play a game where they're all turned upside down. They've got to pick one and try and segment and blend it. Loads of little things like that, but don't make it too elaborate. Just keep it nice and simple. So that's your practice part. And then your application at the end is normally reading some sort of caption. So reading a fuller sentence with the sound in that you've just learnt. That could just be quickly written up on the board. Let's do our sound buttons underneath. It's literally the last part of the lesson, 5 minutes. Or it could be a quick, I don't know, it could be all sorts of things. Mainly it is words and sentences that you read. Sometimes it's yes or no, captions and things like that. But they normally have them on the actual plan. So you don't have to go and create your own or anything like that, it's there for you. Okay, but you might find a better application activity that you quite fancy that you want to do. That's okay as well. Make sure it's not focused on the writing though. If you're then going to ask children to do a caption, like dictate one, so you might say, right, well, I'm gonna say a sentence and I want you to have a go at writing it. Don't spend 10 minutes working on that sentence. This is a phonics lesson, it's a reading lesson, it's not a writing lesson. So the only writing so far that we've done is that writing the sound ch. But really, if you didn't do any more writing that lesson, that would be okay. It's only if you just get a bit of time at the end, you might get them to write a sentence, but it's not the focus. And that's why you need to be really careful with worksheets, okay? Piece of paper and jotters, I don't mind having a little go on those, but I just think worksheets are a little bit of a get on and do activity, the colouring in ones and things like that. Just be really careful that you don't start to have worksheets every lesson, because it should be more focused on reading. So instead, it would be better to have something up on the screen, let's try and read it, things like that. But really, worksheets in phonics, not ideal. There's loads on Twinkle, it's great. And I think if you've got a one-to-one child, you might be taking them in literacy as well. So it might be worth having a little bank of phonics worksheets. I think that's a great idea. But I think for your phonics group, you know, when we're coming round looking at what you're doing, it should be all hands-on, it should be group work, it should be leading at the front, it should be lots of hearing the sounds and saying the sounds and reading them things on the board, not children sat there colouring crosswords. Because really, is that actually learning? Is anything going in? I'm not sure. Okay, they might just be enjoying a little bit of colouring. Okay, once a week maybe you have a little treat and they have, I don't know why you want to do some assessments. It's always handy to have a worksheet. You know, if you think, oh, I really need to assess them this week, I want to see where they're up to, by all means get a worksheet for them to be getting on with that's relevant to what you've been doing. But it shouldn't be a worksheet every lesson really. Okay, so just be careful with that as well. If you find at the end of that lesson you have got somebody who's really not understood that, they just cannot do the ch sound no matter what, they can't say it, they can't retain it, when you show them it at the end of the lesson they still don't know that it's a ch. It does not mean the day after you go do that whole lesson again, because 5 of your children have got it, they don't need ch again, that's going in your revisit now. But maybe that one child just can't get it. That needs to be a one-to-one activity then, needs to be pulling him up in the afternoon or mentioning to the class teacher, I really need to grab him because he's not understood ch today. Will only take 5 minutes, but that's a dialogue with your teacher to say, I really need to pull him. Or if you are the class teacher, you know, if you've got an afternoon play, you need to keep him out so that the next day he's not moved, he's not fallen behind, he's there with it. And you can make a bit of a point of it the next day. Oh, we know this now, go on, what is it? And make it a bit more fun, but it's got to be picked up on that day. I know that's tricky because people say, oh, I don't have the time for that or whatever. But even if you've got a reader that comes in and that child happens to be reading that day, maybe ask that adult and say, could you just go through the ch sound with him for reading today rather than doing his reading book? Ask his parents that night, if you've got supportive parents, can you go through the ch sound tonight? And just make it a big thing. Ask him through the day. I don't know, I'm saying he all the time, but ask him through the day, what's that sound again? Have it in your pocket, flash it out in front of his face, but just, it's got to be right for the next day. Okay, so that's kind of your responsibility if that child's in your group to make sure that they can get that sound the next day. Okay, so that's a bit of assessment, daily ongoing assessment for you as well. So I think that's everything. I will email you a bit of when I did some training for the school direct pupils, I did a bit of a layout of what I would do in a lesson, and I would do the same thing every day and just tweak it slightly to make it a bit more interesting sometimes. Not even interesting, but just to change it up every now and then. But I just keep phonics really simple. It's not a lot of prep for me because I just keep it the same every day. I don't ever really get worksheets. I just keep it real simple. Sometimes I do my flashcards with music. I don't feel like dancing, so we do phonics aerobics if we've got a bit of time at the end. You know that I don't feel like dancing, da 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 da. I can't remember the song, but is it Mika? I think it's Mika, I think. But that's a great one to do, and then it starts, isn't it? It goes da 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 da, and I just hold it up and they just go g g g g. When I change it, and they love it. They shouldn't really be moving. I always tell them not to, but it's so hard not to. So it's phonics aerobics with their mouth. But if you're in a classroom, you've got a bit of music, do a bit of that. That's really easy to do. So yeah, the simpler, the better, as long as you are following this and as long as you're using pure sounds. Okay, so quick reminder, year 1, you should be doing discrete phonics every day, 4 times a week, and then on one day you're doing your whole class phonics lesson. If you need a bit of prep time, if you're a TA and you're thinking, I just need to get a bit of stuff together ready for next week, I think daily prep, I'm not sure we can fit in the timetable, but it might be that somewhere, an afternoon play or something once a week, you can have some time to just get your head together for the week after. What am I doing? Where am I up to? And ask your class. But again, that's a conversation with your class teacher, but I'm sure you can come up with some sort of plan of when you get a little bit of planning time if you need it. If you don't need it, don't take it. But if you do need it, please say and speak to your teacher in your class. Year 2, 4, discrete phonics weekly lessons. Key Stage 2, if you've got anyone in Key Stage 2 doing it, for children still on phonics, they should have 4 lessons a week, and that will be being monitored, because I think sometimes it's hard in Key Stage 2, there's not a space or there's not enough time. But actually those children that have left year 2, I think I just said Key Stage 2, I said year 2, didn't I? But the children who have left year 2, some of them still need phonics. And if they miss it and then get to year 5, they've got a big gap of phonics. So year 3 in particular, it's really important they still have those phonics lessons of where they were up to. Yeah, so I think I've covered everything. If there's anything at all, a question that you need answering this week that you're just a bit unsure about, Emma is there. She is an expert in phonics, but as well there are other people in Key Stage 1, TAs and teachers, that are really, really strong in phonics. So please ask each other. I'm only a phone call away this week. I'm still working. I'm just at home. So please ring me and I'll talk it through. We can set up a Teams meeting if you've got any specific questions then and you just want to ask me on your own. We can sort that and I can help you with that. So please ask for help. That's what we're here for. But I hope that was helpful. I'll email it all over. Get yourself a little teddy. Emma will be distributing the boxes this week. If you haven't got one, you'd like one, go and see what's in there and make yourself one. Make sure it's got things in like your flashcards and all your resources. Get your pens in there, everything ready, so you're not, rushing after play trying to find where everything is. Have it ready, okay? And keep up with those children that are falling behind. Pick them up as soon as you can, ready for the next day. Keep it short and snappy. Don't over elaborate anything at all, and have fun. Get to know your little group and enjoy it. It's your little group, and we want to see progress in those phonics scores and those phonics in reading, really. So just and they will make progress if you follow that structure, I promise. Okay. Sorry that you've had to just look at my face for half an hour, but I hope that's been helpful. And please ring if you need anything at all. Have a great week, everyone. Bye.